Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Right now we're going to do the fourth game in a row between ZeLoT and Rain. Those first three were kind of funny. Just pure Ling all-ins. It's okay, so I don't know. This just popped in my mind. So if you watch the first video, right, we had 3 Zergling all-ins and Rain finally held the third time. It was close though. It was close. Now I feel like, okay, he's leveled up. Is it time for the Hydra all-ins, or is ZeLoT going to continue forward with the ZeLoT or the Zergling plays? Right? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to end up seeing from these guys. Well, from Rain, probably just trying to live through things in the early game. Good luck to him. ZeLoT has shown that his aggressive tendencies are incredibly strong. He knows exactly what he's doing. And really gives himself every shot possible to win that game as quickly and efficiently as possible, or inefficiently as possible. Now, Rain does look to be going for a very quick gateway here. This is a 9-gate. This is a little bit different from what I wasn't paying super close attention to the previous game, but so there's 2 different ways you can gateway expand. There's 10-gate, where it's a little bit more economical. You build the pylon, you send the probe to mine here, and then when the probe is about here, you send a probe from your main to make the gate, and it makes a 10-gate. Here, with a 9-gate, you just sit the probe there because it doesn't have time to do anything. The pylon finishes, and then you have to cut a probe and make the gateway. So this is going to be more ZeLoT's, a little bit more aggressive from Rain than some other gateway expansion openers. Once again, the overpool looks like it is from ZeLoT, going out with his drone scout now. That's kind of funny. I'm not sure. I think he might just have it timed down to see if a probe is coming. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that one. That was an interesting scout, though, to only go out that far. Maybe he thought twice, but he might also have a very specific timing where he's like, okay, at 1 minute 50 seconds, you know, that's when a probe is coming. If it's forge, or, you know, I don't know exactly, but sometimes you have things like that. You know, every player kind of makes their own roadmap of what they're looking for, when, and how they want to deal with that. Again, part of the beauty of StarCraft. Now, Rain coming down with this probe, goes past the drone, sees that drone going up towards the third base. 4 Lings already out. Okay, so he's going to look at this, say, yep, overpool, going to take the third hatch right now. Turns around with his ZeLoT immediately. Second ZeLoT's almost done. This probe coming up now, here's the thing. Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be quick speed again? I don't know. Probe comes up here. This probe sees the timing of the gas. I think he can go Nexus before Forge here. This doesn't look as aggressive from ZeLoT as what we've seen. Look, he's already on 9 drones, right? That was literally last game. He had 9 drones for the vast majority of it. And see, we're going up and more. So that's like, these are things you have to learn if you want to be a good Protoss player, right? Like, when you're scouting with your probe, you have to be able to look at it and be like, okay, well, this drone count means this, the hatchery at this health. Well, I mean, this is really every match. It's not just Protoss for Zerg, but like, you need to look at it and say, yes, at this time on the clock, this is how much health he should have, this is how many drones. Okay, so he's, you know, I have a good idea of how many Lings there are, that type of thing. Now, as the Lings kind of chase the probe out, 2 ZeLoTs do pass them to go over here and you know, obviously put some pressure on the hatchery. There are some good hiding spots, well, not hiding spots, but good chokes that these can get in over here. This location and this location, both pretty prime for hiding a ZeLoT in there. I don't believe you actually can fit anything there. So yeah, he's going to run in between the gas. This is a really great spot right here. Very hard to get good surface area. You have to just attack from both sides. And see, he'll go, and he can actually make the ZeLoTs even closer. See how he just made them closer together? So that covers up some of the surface area as well. And he can always run back in there. And that makes the trade really inefficient for the Zerglings. If they're fighting one at a time, like, ZeLoTs will kill a lot. Okay, that was kind of weird. Yeah, doesn't go so well. Doesn't go so well. So messes up a little bit. I didn't see exactly why that was. It might have been that he lost his scout probe, or I don't think so. I thought that was already dead. Either way, as I was talking about, you know, it took him 3 games. He beat the Ling all-in. It's time for the Hydra all-in. Now he's getting Hydralisk speed, still droning up a bit. He does need some more drones. Doesn't have quite enough right now. Double cannon being made. There is no probe out here. Third cannon. Seems as if Rain really has a good idea of what's going on. The third cannon is like, the Hydra rush just should not end up working. In fact, seeing 3 cannons, I wonder if ZeLoT will pull this back and go drones. I think, well, generally speaking, guys, if you go for like a 3-hatch Hydra, you'll still make 5 or 6 Hydras no matter what. You'll never stop on like 1, right? You make 5 or 6 because it's really hard to tell that from an all-in, and you'll hit the wall, right? You can sometimes, once range is done, you can definitely knock out the forge. A lot of times you can knock out the gateway. The gateway is equal with the forge here, so it looks pretty hard to knock both them out. So he's going to get that range upgrade. We'll see exactly how many Hydras he makes. So right now we see like 6 total, 5 more on the way. So it does look like he's continuing on the all-in. That does look to be the case. One thing I want to mention, that is a very quick robotics bay. Or robotics facility, sorry. So it looks like we're going to see Corsair Reaver, which is awesome. I love Corsair Reaver games. But this will probably be closer to Reaver with like mass Reavers with like a Corsair. That's kind of what it looks like to me right now. Now, more cannons are finishing up. The Hydras, he's just lining these up. Ooh, he's got to pull that one back. He's just lining them up and putting them on hold position so that when range finishes, they can start working on the forge. You really want to deny that +1 if you can. It's very, very annoying for Protoss. More cannons being added. Reaver is on the way. Corsair is on the way. The Corsair will go over to Scout, and the Reaver will, well, it'll, you know, help to hold this, and I'm sure he'll get into shuttle play as well. So this +1 cannot be saved. He's not going to waste a single health point on these Zealots trying to save it because he already knows. Oh my god, he's going for it? That's insane. Definitely didn't expect that. Insta kills some cannons right there. And the forge is gone, so you can't make any other cannons either. Wild. Wild. No forge has been started. Is he going to start another forge? He got another couple cannons started before that forge went down, and I'm sure he'll let those finish. I could see him canceling that one. No, he's going to leave it. He's saying, screw it. Let's do it. Okay, we got to try to take a look at the actual game state here, right? Forge is on the way. This is held, okay? You can tell that because drones are being made. As soon as Zerg switches back into drones, that signals that they are done with the rush. Obviously, that's hard to tell as their opponent, but the Corsair's flying around, and he's figuring that out as well. So Evolution Chamber, we have the lair. He doesn't know, Rain doesn't know how far along the layer is, but it's a little over halfway. We can tell that. Drone count is starting to go up. Hatcheries are going to start getting added. He did end up losing an Overlord during this time. And in fact, he's going to lose the second one because the Zealots are coming out to punish these Hydras as well. So pretty solid with a third base going up very, very quickly as well. Oh, this Overlord going over, he's going to get a little scout of that, but might end up losing that if any vision goes onto it. We have +1 air weapons on the way. Oh, the Hydra's already behind here. These Hydras were definitely waiting to see if they could catch anything, whether it's Corsairs or shuttles coming across. There is a shuttle on the way right now. Corsairs fly through, and they do see the Spire started. So when you see that Spire started, you're probably going to continue Corsair production. Because if you do not continue Corsair production, but you are making shuttles and Reavers, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be some Mutalisks and Scourge out on the map, and the Corsairs are going to be your only way to counter that. Now, the shuttle is out. Is it time to pick up this Reaver and a couple Zealots and go harass? That's kind of the question that we're looking at now. Is he going to play more defensively, or is he going to actually push out there? The second Reaver is being made, so maybe he wants to have double Reaver instead of 2 Zealots and a Reaver. So, you know, the game has really slowed down for a minute. We're getting into like a, well, it's a weird position for sure, right? Like the fact that we're seeing Corsair Reaver. I'm not honestly surprised to see it on La Campanella when we first got this map in the map pool and, you know, as a map that was being utilized in ASL. That was one of the first things I was kind of thinking about is like, could this be a Corsair Reaver map because of these kind of islandish bases? And obviously, it's not the most common strategy to see. This is a very rare strategy in general, but this is the second time I've seen it on La Campanella. And in fact, second time cast on this channel. So very cool. You know, definitely a map that I'll probably look for more PVZs on because I am a fan of watching this style. It's so cool. But those two Corsairs have taken a ton of damage. They're going to fly home now, join up with the rest. More Corsairs are still being made. You can look and see that right now, Flyer Carapace as well as Overlord drops are both being made. So, you know, ZeLoT knows what type of game it's going into. But I am nervous for ZeLoT here, because the games he's winning are generally shorter, and we're getting kind of into the real actual macro game territory. Now, it is not to say that ZeLoT cannot play a macro game, right? But a person's style, when they're taken out of their comfort zone of their style, it can get very difficult to make that still work for you. Now, these ZeLoTs coming out, they are going to have to turn around. That is a ton of Hydras that he has. Here comes the Corsairs for a little bit of counter harassment onto the Overlords. Now, is he going to be able to block this? Okay, well, that Overlord's going to go down. A couple Scourge sitting there. He does turn to fight those. It looks like, I think one actually hit there. I heard it. The Hydra's just playing a bit of a containment game. High Templar's coming out to go with these Reavers. Rain has sat back for a while now. He's really just harassing with the Corsairs. By the way, I did notice, I'm not sure exactly what day it was, but I put out a really awesome Rain Protoss versus Zerg game on the channel, where he was doing just fantastic moves with the Corsairs, like harassing the entire time. Killing a ton of Overlords, right? It was against Calm, that's right. I'm sure a lot of you just remembered. Because I saw a lot of people like that game a lot, and a lot of people were commenting on how good that Corsair usage was. And one person, I actually hadn't thought of this, mentioned, they said, I think that Rain's been talking to Flash because they both utilize Corsairs in PvZ in a really similar way. And that didn't really ever occur to me, but I do want to mention that right now, because Rain and Flash are actually almost like best friends, I've heard. They hang out a lot and talk about StarCraft a lot. So maybe there is something to that with the way that they both harass with their Corsairs as well. And yeah, you can find a Flash game where he harasses heavily with Corsairs. Also, it's against Sulky on the channel if you want to look it up. Okay, so, you know, he's got a good amount of Corsairs. Rain has sat back and just macroed really cleanly this entire time. He hasn't really tried harassment. He's just sitting there trying to scale. Now, this is a hell of a lot of Overlords bringing in a lot of Hydras. But look, there's a lot of speed lots here to just start hitting them when they come out. The ones at the top actually having a very hard time. Storm going down. And where are those Corsairs? They're coming back to try to help deal with this. That is so many Hydras. If the Corsairs had been here, this would have looked very, very different. But you can't just always stay defensively with your Corsairs. So, Rain gonna lose this base. And maybe just this game straight up. Not looking very good. Okay, here's what Rain does have. Double Reaver, 4 High Templars, +1 attack, Dragoon range almost done, and a decent amount of Zealots and Corsairs. It's a reasonable army. This is a good army. Right? If you micro this army just right, it can beat a hell of a lot of Hydras. And a lot of the Hydras are kind of trapped over here. Okay, it's something you got to think about. Oh, God, that's definitely him just not paying attention. They just got aggroed onto that. But yeah, the Overlords are mostly running out. These Hydras have been left behind. They could come for an attack on this base, but that's a lot of Hydras that aren't going to be sitting there when Rain counterattacks. Ooh, Lurkers are out already. Okay, we do have an Observer. So definitely not the end of the world. Reavers, Psystorms, Dragoons. I mean, that's Lurker death right there. Now, Rain builds up some more units to actually clear this area. He is retaking a third base, but at a new location there, down at the bottom. He's actually picking off a lot of Overlords. Not with Corsairs, but with Dragoons. Corsairs will come in for the alley-oop there. And finally, these Hydras will be picked off. So, Rain might go up to 4 bases. Oh! Okay, sorry, I missed that. That's like a very weird situation. It looks like maybe he was flying in with the Reavers and the Scourge were going to go for the shuttle, so he drops them out, and the 2 Reavers die basically for free. So definitely a bit of a fumble there. Bit of a blunder by Rain, but he comes in for an attack now. He's killed a lot of Hydras this game. He actually has a lot of supply. Look at that. He's up by 35 army supply right now. Both sitting there on 34 workers. Or 42 workers, sorry. Yeah, it's like Rain's army is still pretty good even without the Reavers, but I do feel bad that the Reavers are gone. I was really looking forward to those being a part of this battle. But more Zealots coming up now to join. I tell you, right now, ZeLoT is putting out a very good follow-up to that 3-hatch Hydra that didn't really do too much. Great storm there, though. Rain fighting back strongly. We have these lurkers, so you do have to be careful. You don't want to overextend with your ZeLoTs into those. ZeLoT comes down and does get stormed really viciously on those Hydras to the north. But this army no longer can really fight. He's got, like, 1 Psy Storm left here. Yeah, he's going to end up losing 3 High Templars there for no additional value to speak of. Well, he does have another round of reinforcements. Gets up here. The lurkers burrow, so they will get a pretty good set of spines off on those ZeLoTs before they get picked off. A lot of Psy Storms going down as well. Rain clears the area. He's got a new 3rd Nexus up. Needs to transfer probes here ASAP. Did clear this area as well. You know, there are drops, so that's easy to attack again, but definitely something you should be thinking about. The supply for both players has fallen pretty dramatically, but don't forget, ZeLoT has this base. So this is his 4th base up and mining. This is Rain's 3rd base, not, well, up, but not mining. He is finally sending some probes over. His main almost mined out. His natural is going to mine out relatively quickly, too. And like in any matchup, you got to always think as you get into the later game, well, any portion of the game, 1 base mining is not enough at all. That's why people expand right away, because 2 base mining is more than twice as good as 1 base mining. Okay, it's crazy how much stronger it is. Like you can't really get that much on 1 base. So Rain's gonna have to think about that. In the meantime, a little bit of harassment, a Hydra drop here, 3 Overlords going towards the main. Ooh, this is not good right now. Picks off one of those Overlords before it can fully unload. A few Hydras do end up getting out, but he's gonna kill all those Overlords and all of these Hydras without any real significant damage. This one is going to be able to retreat. Do you have anything in those? Nope, those are empty. More Hydra Lurker in the center of the map. They're starting to come over. Rain drawing all of his units together. Ooh, very nice Psy Storm right there. 3 Lurkers up at the top, but that's very stormable as well. This quicker style of attack that we're seeing from ZeLoT is getting a lot of the clumping to occur. Look at that. Storms out a lot of the Hydras. Going to continue to push forward here. And I think he has to turn around, honestly. Like, I mean, there's a lot of Hydras popping out. The Dragoons themselves can't fight well without support units, and the support units are being eaten up. So watch this. The ZeLoTs are going to die. This battle's over. You got to, like, he's going to knock out these Dragoons so quickly. Okay, more support units are funneling in. Does he have enough to continue to push it? 2 High Templars coming over. They're both going to have 1 storm each. You see Rain starting to pull back. You have to have that support for those Dragoons or they fall too quickly. Great storms go down. The Dragoons are starting to fall, though, and you can see the army just being gobbled up right now by ZeLoT. ZeLoT's macro may be a bit too big at this point. You can see the supplies getting closer and closer and closer. Not something Protoss wants to deal with. Hasn't been able to retake his base. Damn, I tell you, a good macro game. After those first 3 games, I was actually really laughing out loud about, you know, just how cheesy they were, how quick they were. I'm like, well, if the games are this quick, we can do all 14 of them in like a few days. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though. This is a big macro game. Look at this. We're approaching 20 minutes right now. It felt like Rain maybe had an advantage earlier, but I think the massive drop from ZeLoT onto this 3rd base really did fantastically. Now, that being said, this is a big moment. The ZeLoT's running in and getting a hatchery kill on the 4th. That puts us down to 3 base here as Zerg, right? 3 base layer tech? Like, that's not very good. Even these ZeLoTs are trading well. Look at that. He's getting perfect surface area on them. It's like maybe enough Hydras to beat them, but you have to micro super heavily, and the trade is going to be close. You always want to have, like, overwhelming numbers, and that's just not the case here for ZeLoT. Okay, another big drop comes out from ZeLoT onto this 3rd base. Wants to kill it once again. A lot easier to reinforce this one. A ton of probes just got transferred, so if the Lurker Spines go in there, could be bad. A couple great storms go down, though, and this is going to get cleaned up. Just too clumped up, this drop attack. And not that much damage will be dealt to Rain there. Still, ZeLoT has a pretty high supply considering. Oh, he's got to get that observer up there and clean this lurker. Lurker just getting some free damage at the moment. Still no additional base. Observer scouting the map right now. Rain is playing a little bit blind. You know, the observer going around kind of shows us that as well. He sends a lot of his army down here. Sets up some photon cannons for defense against these drops. But look at this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is he going to contain this little choke that all the units of rain went into? That's an insane storm we just saw go down. But that kind of looks like it. It looks like he's trying to do a dual contain. Most of the army's here and he knows it. And the rallies come out of this area. So it's kind of a dual contain. If you moved it over and made a perfect contain on here, the flanking units would have an easy way out to attack everything. So I kind of see what he's trying to do, but I don't feel like he has quite enough units to hold it consistently. Trying to push in now another awesome storm, taking a ton of damage on his Hydras and Lurkers here. Oh, man. And even going to drop as well. The drop being the flank. The only other thing you could do here is unburrow underneath it. More units coming out from Rain. Rain is going to clear this all. Now ZeLoT's supply has fallen pretty dramatically. We were really close until that. But that doesn't mean that that was like a bad idea either, because it does feel like after losing this hatchery, ZeLoT got into a very tough position. Not a lot of tech, running out of minerals. You know, we're getting up into 21 minutes, so the gases are going to start running out as well. That one's depleted, and this one only has 1,000 left. That's 3 minutes and 20 seconds of gas. So, you know, that's tough, right? Like he's going to start running out of everything. So he tried to make a move. If you kill this base, you win, right? But did not end up working. Rain coming out across the map. This should be enough to kill ZeLoT at this point. I don't think that ZeLoT lives through this. All right, well, he's trying his best. He's spreading out those lurkers. He's microing back the Hydralisks. But, yeah, Storm goes down, and that's going to be that. It looks like this series of 14 games is going to go 2-2 so far. Just to note, I think I'm kind of interested in it, so I am going to continue to do some ZeLoT Rain games, but I am going to put some other games in between as well. You know, so it's not just only Protoss vs. Zerg every single day. But we will do some more of these games. Guys, hope that you enjoyed the fourth game between ZeLoT and Rain, and thank you for watching.